What's going on, everybody? JR from JR's Cars, and today is part 2 of trying to get the 69 Mercury to start. So stay tuned, because you will hear this car run before the end of this video. So after doing a little research online, I was looking and seeing that people were saying that, not for this specific model, but just Ford in general, that sometimes this starter solenoid here could end up going bad and causing that issue to where if you turn the key to the run position, you'll get power, but if you kick it back to the on position, it won't supply any power. So I started looking at these wires, and everything looks okay here. Pulled them off, cleaned them up, looked to see if everything was good, which it seems like it's okay. Everything is tight, have no issues there. But then I ran down this line here again, checked to make sure everything looked okay, which it did. And it looks like someone basically just took this cable, either a rat chewed on it or a mouse chewed on it or something, but this was barely connected at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, I'm going to splice them together and wrap them with some electrical tape, and then we'll try again and see if we can get this thing running. Alrighty, so as you can tell, that still is not starting. And I did actually go through and replace the starter solenoid here with a new one, and everything has been good. Cleaned up that line over there. It's still not keeping, it's still not staying running when you let up off of it. You get it to the start position and it runs, it kicks over, you hear it starting, but then you kick it back to the on position to keep the engine running, and it just doesn't do anything, so it kills it. So we kind of had some pretty bad weather here up in the Northeast a couple weeks now. We had a 22-inch snowstorm, something like that, 2 weeks ago. So I haven't really been able to work on the car, and it's just finally getting to the point to where it's all melted out and I could actually get back to it again. But I started looking at it a little bit more, and I think I found where the real issue is. Right there, all those wires that are chewed up. The problem with them is that they go into the cabin. See that hole through the firewall there? That's where the other end would connect underneath the dashboard. But tracing back some of these wires, it goes right up to where the coil is. So my thought is, of course, with these wires being chewed up and disconnected, probably a mouse had chewed up all this stuff here, that when the car goes back to the on position, it's just not keeping any kind of power voltage going up to the coil here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to splice these wires back together, get the butt ends, put them back together. I'll go wire by wire, and once I have that done, I'm going to try to start this thing up again and then see if it actually does run. I'm hoping that it does. At that point, then keep power to the coil, and we can hear this thing run finally. And then looking at it from the inside of the car, this is what the harness is. So I'm going to have to cut this back, pull these wires out. I'm going to end up putting the butt ends on this first, and then I'll put it through the firewall, and then I'll clean up the other side, and then plug these things together. And fingers crossed, we're going to hear this bad boy run and stay running this time. Okie dokie, ladies and gents, here's what we have. So there's 6 wires right there. Those 6 wires were eaten up, split every single wire. There wasn't a single wire that was there wasn't a single wire that wasn't chewed through there. So I just butt spliced them together right now with those. I mean, it's a temporary solution. I just want to hear the car run. I will fix this permanently, obviously, and we'll put the grommet in the firewall, so that way there's no there's no chafing or anything like that that'll happen. Again, this is just a temporary fix just to see if this car will run. So at this point, I'm going to set up the camera and we'll try to get this 390 here to finally run. All right, tank's in, carb is primed. Let's see. It runs. And not only does it run, I am so stoked right now. I am freaking ridiculously stoked. Not only does it run, the carb doesn't leak. Like the guy told me, oh, the carb was leaking. That was a load of crap. But it's also pulling fuel from the tank, because I only dropped a little bit of fuel in that carburetor and it kept running that whole time. This is freaking awesome. I'm so happy to hear that this engine runs. She's idling on her own now, too. Definitely needs a tune-up. I'll put some plugs and wires in it. But, oh man, I'm friggin' excited. Let's see. I don't feel it going into gear though. Either way. She's running. I'll take that at least. All right, if you look here, I mean, she's rocking and rolling a little bit. It definitely needs some plugs, some wires, probably cap rotor, things like that. Nice tune-up, clean up the points on it, get that all squared away. But I mean, she's idling without a problem. Obviously pulling fuel because it's running on its own. There's no noises in this engine. There's no ticks, there's no knocks, no nothing like that. Unfortunately, it didn't go into gear, but let's check this transmission fluid to see what it looks like right now. Well, that'll do it. No transmission fluid. Alright, let me go run to the parts store, go get some trans fluid, and we'll see if this thing will actually go in gear then. Alrighty, so I dropped a quart of just cheap Walmart Supertech Type F trans fluid in there. I only put 1 quart in because I want to just go 1 quart at a time. You don't want to overfill it, obviously. But before I start the car back up, I want to take the cap and the rotor off. I want to take a look at the bottom of it, just see if the rotor needs to be cleaned up a little bit and the cap contacts and everything are clean. You know, before I go and restart this back up. So let's pop this off, take a look and see what we got. Oh wow, she's clean. A fairly new rotor on it too, so it looks like the points were just changed. Points look really new, actually. Everything looks good here. All right, I'm gonna put this back together, being that that looks okay. I'll put it all back together. We'll start it back up. We'll check the trans fluid. We'll add if we need a little bit more, and then we'll get back in it and see if it actually does want to drive then. Alrighty, so she took 3 quarts, and it's still a little bit low, but let's see if it does anything now. Whoop! She goes into gear. Close this door. I feel it moving. Oh, awesome. I feel it going into gear. Brakes are definitely dragging. Bang! There we go, into gear. And watch. Nice. Cool. That's awesome. Transmission saved. Awesome. Well, there she is, guys. She runs. She drives. Now it's time to get to all the other stuff that we need to do to the car. Plugs, wires, different things like that, tune up. I got to get a little bit more transmission fluid because it took 3 quarts, but it's still a little bit low. Nothing big, but I'm super excited to hear that this runs and this actually moves underneath its own power. So if you're as excited as I am, smash that thumbs up button and hit that subscribe button. I hope everybody's staying safe out there, and I'll catch you in the next video where we continue working on the Merc.